Well, today it was killing time at Walmart while I was waiting to get a free charge on my electric car, and I just happened to come across an LED light for the ridiculously low price of $1.50, so I had to buy it. And guess what? We're going to take it apart and see if this 10-watt light really stacks up. Welcome to another teardown video. Today I'm going to tear down this LED for Life by Globe. Now this is an 800 lumen 10-watt LED. I bought this at Walmart in Canada. It cost $1.50. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this one. We'll compare it to the last couple. The last few lights that I tested was the, I've taken the diffuser off this, but maybe we'll put the diffuser on just to compare it. This is the Luminous, the one that I tested before. This was the $3 light from the dollar store, which I've been so happy with. I actually been using this as a work light, and I took the diffuser off of it because, well, as you can see when I turn it on, I don't have all my lights on here. By the way, I normally have this one on, and sometimes I turn this one on too when I'm working on things. I'll power this one up. And I took the diffuser off it just because it gives me stronger light. But we'll do a comparison. But let's before I do that, let's just open this one up and take a look at it. So it's a non-dimmable light. They say it lasts 10,000 hours, instant on, no mercury, of course. And they're saying it's going to last 9.1 years. You know what? It's $1.50, so if it lasts 2 years, I wouldn't be complaining. The price of LEDs has gone down substantially in the last couple of years. Here's the bulb. I'm going to go get the diffuser for the other one. We'll do a comparison, and I'm actually going to set it up on my elevated light stand, which is actually by the arm for my magnifier, which I'm not using because the fluorescent bulb on it is broken. But I can put the light overhead and we'll do some light measurements. So here's the new one, the Globe, compared to the Luminous. They look similar. The difference is the Luminous actually has a larger diffuser, and I think it probably is going to diffuse better than this one just by looking at it. But the Luminous also, this is a metal base, as you can see where I scratch it. This is actually the heat sink. This one here feels like plastic. We'll see. We'll see if it's just painted. I don't think it is, though. I think it's probably just plastic, which, as you can see, is plastic. So that's not a heat sink. But let's just take a look at the light output from the two of these. I'm going to kill all the rest of the lights in here so that we can see just how much light we get from these lights. I'll start out with the Luminous. So I'm going to put the Luminous in my fixture, and I'll show you what I'm going to use as my test fixture here. So here's my test fixture. I'm just going to plug the light in and turn it on. I'm going to kill the rest of the lights in here. So now the only light that's actually operating is this light. And I'm going to get my cell phone out here, and we'll put in the I've got it plugged into the charger because its battery is weak. So here we are. I'm going to put the light directly underneath, or put the phone directly underneath, and we'll measure. I get my ruler here. We're going to measure at a distance of 1 foot. So as you can see, I've got the light exactly 12 inches over top of the cell phone. And we'll just unlock it here. And we'll see that the cell phone is showing 1,740 lux shining right into the light meter. And now that's coming straight in. If I take it right over top of it and point it right down at it, probably even go higher, but for comparison's sake, I'm going to offset it slightly. And we'll measure it again here. Right off the top of the light to the light sensor is, we're about 15 inches now. and we're getting 830 lux. Remember, this one was also rated 800 lux. So here we go, 830 lux. Let's change the light. It's going to get dark in here because I don't have any other lights. Here's this other light. And it actually is showing 874. So this is the $1.50 light. 874 lux. And, oh, correction. This one only claims 750. I'm looking up right here. 750 lumens, it says. This one claims 800. So that would explain why. Yes, it is actually brighter than this bulb. Okay, so we're reading about 810 now. Okay, there we go. I'm reading 802, which this one's rated at 700. Or I mean rated at 800. Let's look at the other one from the same height. $658. But yes, it's definitely not as bright. Definitely not as bright as this one, for sure. Like most of these lights, these are not meant to come apart, so we kind of have to apply some brute force to them, but they usually will pop apart quite easily if we just pry them apart. A little bit of coaxing, and they will usually pop apart. Oh, cool. Wow. Isn't that interesting? I've never seen anything like this. Check this out. I've never seen one like this. They've got the main filter capacitor on top. Isn't that neat? I've never seen that. You know, get the rectifier, your filter capacitor, and I guess this is the IC, the regulator IC, is on top here. So I would imagine that both of these wires here probably go down to the circuit board. Let's get the meter out and just test that and see whether these are fed with AC. I have a feeling that this is probably supplying AC right to the board. So meter and diode test mode. So there you go. And the tip will be the black wire, I'm sure, which it is. So this bulb is going to have a fuse in it, I'm sure. It's got heat shrink tubing. So I'm sure this has got the fuse in it here. So this one's actually supplying AC right to the actual die. And I've never seen one like this. So this bulb, you wouldn't want to run this with the top off of it because you're going to have 120 volts present right on the top of the light, which, I mean, we can certainly verify that. I'll probably blow myself up here doing this. We're not recommended to do this, but let's just see for sure. So there's the lights on, blinding me here. We'll put the meter in AC voltage. 120 volts right there on the actual circuit board, AC. So this is line operated. That's probably the way they can get these things so cheap, because the other bulb, if you remember seeing the other one, it actually had its own circuit board and the light die was plugged into it. In this case, the light die itself is actually part of the main circuit board, and it's very, very simple. You've got the full wave bridge rectifier here, you've got the main filter capacitor, a couple of resistors, and the driver IC, U1, which is going to filter, you know, it's not using a switching regulator or anything. This is just the current limiting device, which is then going to drive all the LEDs. And these LEDs are all going to be fed in series with each other. So we have, how many LEDs on here? We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's got 11 LEDs, and I'm going to say they're all wired in series because, well, I can see where the traces go. And it looks like they are all wired in series. I can see the trace. The trace comes out from here, and it goes to this LED, and then a trace goes to here, from there to there, to there to there, 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 that one to that one, that one to that one, that one to that one, and this one comes back around and it goes to the positive side of this capacitor. And the negative side of the capacitor, where does the heck does it go? It feeds in from the the rectifier here. One side goes to the negative and the other side goes to the positive, and it looks like it probably works its way around to one of the terminals on here. Let's figure it out. Got a meter here. We can see where it goes. I'll put it in this thing. It's not plugged in, just to hold it in place. So let's just see where the wires go here. So the negative from the capacitor goes to right to there. Okay. And the positive from the capacitor, it's going to probably go to, where is it going to go? It's going to feed into the LEDs. It feeds into this LED here. And then these all are in series with each other. If I can get in there. Right? See, these are all in series. And feeding back, it comes back to, from this side here, it comes back to this output of the regulator here. And then the regulator is fed through these resistors here, right? See? And that's where it picks up its biasing. So everything is all on the one board, which is kind of cool. I don't know how that's going to be for heat. I guess because this is the heat sink, the capacitor certainly won't get as hot with all the open air around it here as it would if it was trapped in the base. Because the base of these things are going to get pretty warm. So I don't know what the reliability is going to be like on this, but you know what? I'll find out because I'm going to put this thing into a long-term test. But I am going to have to snap the top back on this because obviously this one's got hazardous voltages, but the top goes back on. Let's see what happens with this. It's non-dimmable, so inquiring minds want to know what happens if you plug it into a dimmer. So I've got my little dimmer set up here. This is just a standard Lutron electronic dimmer. This is I think this is a trailing edge. It's not that, but it's an incandescent, right? Not a certified LED dimmer by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, LEDs that are certified or LEDs that are dimmable actually will work on this dimmer, and they'll work quite well. So let's just plug this device in. Oh, it already is plugged in. It's not on my isolation transformer. This one's just plugged straight in. Let's see what happens when we apply power. Oh, yeah, it comes on. It actually does dim. Interesting. Well, it sort of dims. Well, it doesn't. It flickers. This is a non-dimmable LED, and this is what happens when you put non-dimmable LEDs on a dimmer. They don't work very well. That's flickering. I don't know if you guys can see it, but trust me, it's flickering. Even when it's turned up all the way, this light is flickering. It's strobing at probably 30 hertz. I don't know how it comes across on camera, but it's bad. Like, you would not want to run this light with this dimmer. It's this one here is also non-dimmable. If I put this other light in here, now this one doesn't flicker, but it doesn't really dim. It starts to flicker as I'm dimming it, but as I dim it down lower, well, it starts doing that. So this is a non-dimmable bulb. Now by comparison, let's look at a dimmable bulb. I have here 3 dimmable LEDs. I have 2 Fiat. This one here is a Fiat. This is an older one. And this works fine on dimmers like this. It doesn't work that well on the remote control electronic dimmers, but this one is a dimmable light. It should say right on here that it's dimmable. It is dimmable. Trust me, it's dimmable, as you'll see. I actually use a couple of these on a dimmer switch just like this, and it's completely dimmable. And it does not flicker or flash. I'll turn out the lights so that you can see the effect of it. Okay, here we start turning it on. Right, it go right down to nothing. That's a proper dimmable LED. And these ones have been very good. I've had these for quite a few years. I've actually got them in bathroom fixture. Showing it to you here so you can see it on the whole desk. So that's how dimmable LEDs are supposed to work. And you can dim them down. But the color temperature doesn't change. The color temperature stays the same regardless as how bright it is. So I'm just going to change over to the Philips. This is a Philips. This one's called a Warm Glow. We've seen this one before, but we'll just take another look at it on this regular incandescent dimmer, and you'll see how it works. So we'll kill the lights. Okay. Again. And as this one here, as it warms up, as you can see, if you look at the skin tone, as I dim it down, it gets more red. So that's a Warm Glow Philips. And again, it's a dimmable bulb, obviously, and it works properly. The last one we'll look at is we'll look at my classic Fiat. These are old-fashioned looking with the dual filaments. Love them. This is the first classic LED light that I found acceptable, and I use them in my hallway to replace incandescents. We'll take a look at this one. I don't even use these as a dimmable light, but they are dimmable. So, you know. That banding is the actual camera. The shutter changed on the camera. That's what's causing that. That's not the light. That's just the camera itself, because it's looking at the bright light. But these ones here also, very nice. So there you have it. It's the Globe LED for Life. $1.50 at Walmart. I think I have to say this one's, I'd recommend this. This looked to be really well built, really well designed. For $1.50, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong for $1.50 on this thing. And if it only lasts a year, big deal. It's $1.50. You know, I'm going to be running this in a long-term test, and we'll let you know what happens. But I think this one's probably going to be a good one. And I really don't see this one having a lot of failures. There's not really a lot to go wrong. You saw the heatsink. It's it's big metal. Well, we can still see it here if I can get the bulb apart. It's the full disc, right? So I don't think we're going to have a problem with heat on this because everything's well spaced out on the metal heatsink. There's no point in taking this out because we know there's nothing underneath here. These wires connect directly. So, there you go. Globe LED for Life. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.